Good Sunday morning, everybody. It's been a eventful weekend. I know the weekend is not totally over yet. I still have today, but hopefully it won't be as bad as yesterday. I'm sorry for yawning. Yesterday I had a regular. She comes in on a regular basis for Lotto. I know how to use my lotto machine, and I up until later on that day, I had no problems with this lady. She had brung in a phone, one of two phones that she carries with her. Um, on the phone was a barcode for Lotto. Well, I tried to run the phone underneath the scanner, and it was not scanning. My Lotto machine was making an audible beep to let me know that something was happening, but it wasn't going. So when I looked at the phone said, "Please print." So I explained to this lady that she needs to take the phone or go onto a computer and print up the ticket, the coupon, basically. Well, sometime later, she came back ranting and raving at the top of her lungs in front of an entourage of people. Now I don't know how many people came with her just to whatever reasons. Um, well, one of the people came with her was a lady with a child. So in between ranting and raving at me, she would turn and act like a totally different person to this child, which was the first red flag that let me know that she's got a screw loose. Well, she had threatened to get me fired, threatened to talk to my boss, threatened to talk to the lottery commission, threatened to call the police. And the whole time I was trying my best to keep my composure, even though at one point when she basically outright called me a liar and a thief, I just just about lost it. Um, Luckily, one of the people who came with her, who is a regular customer, is a fairly decent gentleman, was doing this behind her, which I was like, yeah, mm-hmm, okay, I'm just going to let her fly off the handle and make her accusations and her threats, even though it kept me up until the new 5 a.m. being it's daylight savings time. So I only got about five, maybe 5.5 hours worth of sleep, probably less. And I still have to go to work and continue training a young lady who was there last night to learn the front end. Yeah, great way to have your first day. Have some lunatic come in. Of course, there was one of my regular customers that came in later that night. And I talked to her, and she was like, "Yeah, well, Tuesday's the full moon. It's supposed to be super moon, super moon. So yeah, all the crazies are coming out." Yeah, obviously. So I get to come back in today. Hope this lady doesn't come into my store because I'm going to talk to my supervisor Monday and basically have this woman banned from the store because if she's done it once, she'll do it again to somebody who does not have as much knowledge as I do on our equipment. Not something I'm willing to have happen. Um, I because of this woman, I'm pretty sure because of this woman and a few other customers that basically come in there and just hang out for no reason at all. We now have signs in our store that says no loitering, which this woman does. In fact, she tried to raise a stink with my manager once already because she had come into the store pushing a wheelchair. sat in that wheelchair by the, in the middle of one of my aisles, basically, around the coffee bar. What she was doing was simple. She was playing on her phone, using our Wi-Fi signal to get free tickets or whatnot. Well, after she had been sitting there for a good hour or so, it was time for me to start doing closing. Well, she was kind of in the way of where I had to start my closing at 8 o'clock at night. Or, yeah, 8 o'clock at night. Or, no, 9 o'clock at night when I started doing my closing from my coffee bar and whatnot. I had to say, hun, I can't let you just sit inside the store all day. And she's like, well, I'm just using Wi-Fi. I said, well, you get the signal right outside the store. I'm guessing she took offense to it because, in fact, ever since then, she's been a bit of a stinker. I'm trying to be nice. But anyhow, ever since then, she's been trying to be disruptive and whatnot. There are days where I think like I said to my coworker, she must have some sort of medication that she's not on anymore because she's not over the top like that. So I don't know, because she comes from an apartment complex that's next door to it's an apartment complex that's between two medical facilities. One of them is a elderly care facility, and the other one I think is I don't know if it's a psychiatric hospital, but it just, the sign on the front of the building says um, mental health care or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it says. And I know from people who live in the apartment complex that a lot of people who live there are low income, welfare drunks and drug addicts. That's what I've been told by people who live there who are not that kind of person. And I know a number of the people who come over to my store from that place, or that apartment complex, buys alcohol. I'm not judging because I drink. I don't drink excessively. I buy a bottle of mead or two a week, and they last me a week or two, depending on how bad my night was. But I don't drink heavily. I don't drink like vodka, Bud, anything hardcore. I'm more of a wine consumer. Um, so, yeah. Anyhow, Monday will be the day I get to see my boss and find out if I don't see. Granted, I don't go in until 2 p.m. I'm the closer. Um, Sounds weird. I'm the closer. I close stuff. um, but I get to see my supervisor Monday afternoon when I get in. We're supposed to have a meeting on Tuesday. Don't know what about. I just know that we've been going through a lot of resets. Basically, some of our cooler shelves are getting reset and changed. We're getting different products, trying to make room for those products. I will say, though, that between getting rid of some of the old crew that did not want to work with the new supervisor and getting new people that we can train to do the jobs properly, even though I don't always see that on weekends because I don't know why. The only assistant manager we have out of what we're supposed to have is two. We only have one. That assistant manager is the weekend manager, and she is very, I don't want to say slow because she doesn't have a mental issue. She's not a good worker. It takes me 15 minutes to close my store after 11 o'clock, and 9 times out of 10, I'm usually out by 11:15, if not earlier. She'll put it this way, the one day one of my good workers worked with this girl to close because I was off. He told me that they didn't get out of the store until almost midnight, and I'm like, what? Yeah, she spent most of her time, according to this person, in the office, on the phone with her boyfriend or with her husband, or on her phone playing games. What? I don't do when I'm closing. Yeah, I might text message Jerry. I might listen to my music to motivate me if I'm not feeling very motivated. But I've never stayed past 11:20 on a close, and that was because factor it was a bad day. It was very busy, and I did not get started with my routine until like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour later than normal. Yeah. If I was the store manager or the first assistant manager, that would never fly, because I don't know if the store manager is getting yelled at by the district manager because of the factor of the time consumption or what. But at this point in time, I'm guessing we still have the flexibility. But now that we've got 9 new people, eight, 9 new people, we're almost to full capacity on our crew. If this one girl keeps that kind of malarkey going on, and I think one of the reasons why Tammy, I'm saying names, I'm sorry. One of the reasons why I'm starting to train new people is because factor the boss doesn't want that to fly. Because I guess she's getting yelled at. But anyhow, last night was one of my worst nights in all my jobs, including New York. In New York, my first day on my first job in New York, I was supposed to have somebody who was supposed to come into the store and work with me in the deli department. I worked in a grocery deli department, and I was the only one there. Let's just say I had, still do at times, but my stomach was very unhappy. And I left the store. Surprised I went back. Surprised they let me come back. Because, one, I left in the middle of my shift. Two, the department, I didn't clean it because I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And three, well, let's just say if I didn't have thermal underwear on, you'd be able to follow me around. I'm not going to go into details. But anyhow, the next day when I came back and they asked me what happened, and I explained I was by myself. I don't know what I was doing, and I had a stomach issue. They let it slide. They understood after looking at the time clock and all that what happened. They were able to get somebody in to work with me the next day to help me close. I learned a lot in that first job in New York. But anyhow, to end this video on a, I don't know if I'd say positive note, but no, I'm not even going to say if I'm going to jump. To end this video, I'm just going to let you know that one of the things I did last night to help me calm down and go to sleep is I made a 52-minute long, almost 53-minute long video, short of an hour. Let's just put it that way. Video of me ranting about a lot of different things that was on my mind. If it wasn't for that particular video and the ranting and a cup of chamomile sleepy time tea, I probably would not have gone to sleep last night. I would probably have been awake until sometime tonight. Unfortunately, because of the fact that we don't have any experienced cash register people, I can't call out. And even with me being as tired as I'm probably going to be, I won't call out. I will go to work. I will drink a buttload of coffee. This is the English breakfast tea that one of my wife's viewers, and I think she's one of my viewers, sent me all the way from England. It's not American made. It's not American purchased. It was bought in England and sent to me in a, I'll just call it a care package, because it was a package that she sent to me and Jerry with this tea in it, which I'm about halfway done with the box. If you're watching this video, you know who you are. Thank you very much. I am willing to accept another box. You don't have to send me one. I'm joking. I'm enjoying it very much. I drink 1 to 2 cups of this tea a day. If I have time, I might end up drinking another cup. Jerry made it for me this morning. I love her to pieces. She just didn't put enough honey, and I don't know if that's because I was running out or not. I don't know. But if you are willing to sit down for an hour and watch that video, I am willing to post it if I have enough requests. If not, it's just going to be a personal video log or video diary, whatever you want to call it. Do men do video diaries? Do men do diaries? Do men write down their thoughts? I have a journal book over here that, unfortunately, I haven't really written anything in it in quite some time, but it's the second journal book I've ever used. Actually, I'll take that back. I have lost count of how many journals I made. I only have 2 of the ones I made within the last 10 years. The reason why I started doing that is because it was suggested not only by a family member, but a medical professional in my teens to write down a journal, write down my whatever. It could be a simple one sentence day, or it could be a 3-page day. I was doing that off and on for most of my teens and 20s, probably up until I met Jerry Ann, and then I lost track of doing that because I was so caught up in things, and my thoughts and my feelings and my emotions and everything else were running so, I don't know if you'd say high or rampant or what, but I just lost track of time, put it that way. And I don't know if that was just because the fact that things were new. I was in a big city, a whole lot of new stuff, a whole lot of new situations and events, and most of my life, except for Phoenix, were small towns or small communities. I mean, I don't remember Tucson. Little Rock was a small community outside of I wouldn't say outside of base, but it was in an area that was still being developed at the time in the 70s. Germany was the Air Force Base, or the small villages surrounding the Air Force Base. Then it was Phoenix, and then from Phoenix was here to Missouri in small town Missouri, however you want to pronounce it. Then it was New York, then it was back here. So New York was literally the biggest, most hustle and bustle I've ever lived in my entire life. So I got caught up in so much events and whatnot going on. The downside of New York, for me, I am what some new ages New age people, new age, yeah, whatever you want to call them, um, for lack of better words, hippie, uh, which I kind of am. Um, when I've talked to three different people from three different beliefs or systems, however you want to call it, and all of them, even the Christian people I've talked to, the Native American, the New Ager hippie, and the Christian, all say I have a connectivity to the energies around me. Um, New York was a ball of energy. It was everything, negative, positive, neutral. It was full of all different types of energy. And the more positive energy, the more active energy, I guess you'd say, the more I get caught up in stuff and lose my sense of, not really a sense of self, but just my sense. Um, Coming back here to Missouri, where there's not as much energy pulsing from the hustle and bustle and activity and whatnot, I get more sensitive to everything around me. So Jerry's having a bad day, I end up having a bad day. If Jerry's having a good day, I most likely will have a good day. The problem with our house is Mom. I love her to pieces, but she's becoming more and more, I wouldn't say negative, but she's just never been a very positive. Now, I've lived with my mom alone for a number of years, and it's not that she was negative or positive, she was kind of neutral. So I was able to have my own ebb and flow, so to speak. But lately, because part of it, well, don't want to blame anybody, Jerry has in the past been very positive. Lately, because of the fact that she's stuck here, she doesn't. She does not have a job outside of home. I have the car for the most part, 9 hours a day, 9 plus. Um, so when I have a day off, things around the house, sometimes maybe one day off, unless it's a lot, will get left behind. Right now, we are in the middle of taking down Easter and trying to get up St. Pat's. Jan has decided, because of the time frame and whatnot, that we're not going to pull our normal St. Pat's decorations out of the storage. We're just going to put Easter back up in storage and just decorate the house with whatever St. Pat's stuff she's DIY'd, which I'm fine with, because I've never lived in a house that had year-round decorations. Most of my life, it was Christmas. That was the only decorating we ever did. Part of the reason why that was is, as a child of the military, you moved around a lot, so you don't get the chance to transport a lot of stuff with you. So up until the time my dad passed, or up until the time my dad retired, we only had a Christmas tree and the decorations on the Christmas tree, and there was only a spattering, uh, a, a little bit of decor on the tree. Now, when I moved to New York and got married and whatnot, and found out that they go all out for Christmas and St. Patty's Day and Easter, and Jan loves to decorate. So she decorates for every holiday. She decorates for every season. So we have seasonal decorations. We have holiday decorations. We have more decorations than I've ever owned in my entire life. And I don't mean just one location. I mean from the time I can remember to the time I got married. Um, and that's like 20 some odd years of decor. We had maybe 6 boxes, and either up up until we realized I had allergies, it was a real tree. It wasn't a artificial tree. Um, so we had like enough decorations for the tree itself. Jerry's got we've got Christmas alone. We don't use all the decor, but we have, as of last count, almost 20 boxes, 20 storage bins worth of decor for Christmas alone. And then every other holiday has anywhere from 1 to 4 boxes for each holiday. So yeah, that's a lot of boxes. Most of them are up in my attic. The Christmas stuff is in my storage room outside next to the water heater. Um, I love her to pieces. I love decorating. It just, when I don't have the time and I feel like I'm being rushed to do household projects, I tend not to enjoy myself, and I tend not to want to do them. We were hoping that by this time this year, I would be able to either go down to part-time hours and work basically 2 3 days a week, 20 25 hours out of the week, and be able to spend more time at home with her doing projects around the house and whatnot. Unfortunately, between YouTube changing their algorithm and me needing to work the hours that I now work because of that, we don't know when I'm going to be able to retire. So, yeah, and a lot of you are thinking, retire at 48? That's a little early. Well, it would not be a full 100% no work retirement. It would be I don't have to leave the house to go to a job. I can help Jerry with her YouTube. I can do my YouTube. We can do YouTube together type situation. Do not foresee that in the near future because of the YouTube algorithm, the viewership, just little things that are out of our control. Um, so we try to make the best of our time when I'm off, whether it's household projects or getting out of Dodge, which I'd like to be able to do more of, but again, money being the way it is, it's not happening. We have hopes that we can go to New York in June for her class reunion. I had hopes that we can go down to Texas to visit people down there. I was hoping to be able to do it in May. One of her besties from New York just had a birthday. Unfortunately, we could not afford for Jerry Ann to go, and I told Jerry Ann she could go by herself, but she didn't want to drive all the way to Florida by herself. That's a long haul. I mean, that's longer than our trip to Texas or our trip to New York. Texas takes us 18 hours. New York takes us 20 hours. Florida would be almost a day, a full 24 hours or more. Anyhow, I tried to sign off once before and started up again. Sorry. I don't get the chance to talk a lot. Because Jerry does most of the talking. Those of you who've seen us together on YouTube know this. So when sorry, I'm shaking my spoon over my cup because I don't want it all over the place. So when I get a chance to talk, I talk. Uh-oh. I'm getting alerts about my favorite soccer team is playing today. Manchester United. A lot of people are like, wait a minute, you've never lived in England, but you're a fan of Manchester United. Yeah, I don't know why. I just am. I wasn't a big fan of the German team when I was into soccer. Um, so, yeah. Anyhow, before I start up again, and then I end up doing another 15-minute video. If you enjoyed the video, enjoyed this rant, give it a thumbs up. Questions, comments, positive comments, please. I don't deal well with negative comments. Go ahead and leave them. I'll try to answer them or write them down to basically chat about them on a video. I'm actually thinking about tonight when I come home from work, if Jerry doesn't want to do it with me, I'll do it myself, is jump on here and do a live feed for the first time. Well, a first time for me to do my own, if it is my own. But anyhow, if you want to hear more, see more, hit that bell. It will notify you when I put in a new video or when I'm online if I do live feeds. Until next time, have a good day. Bye.